Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Hey, welcome to the podcast Store on the Pal. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
My name is Tom.
And this is the podcast where we talk about movies, love it or hate it. We debate it. And today we're debating Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Marcenstein.
Who?
Yes, you're
Marcenstein.
Marcenstein.
Right,
This is me, Frank.
Nice.
If there was a photo of you with a Stein glass, you could say that's Frank Kerr and Stein. Right?
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
that's as
It's a good
close as
joke.
you could get to actually doing it.
The old misdirect on the Tom joke. I get
Not bad.
Not
That's also
misdirect.
by 11.
Not a misdirect,
the
just
old-
a bad
it.
direction.
Yeah. It's like here's a
direction.
really obvious joke, and I'm going to twist it so it's terrible.
Just to clarify, we are doing Frankenstein the 2025. Guillermo del Toro.
Who? Sorry?
And I'm Del Toro.
Thank you. Great. 7.6 on IMDb. It had a $120 million budget. It's a Netflix film, strangely,
How much
but it did have
how much of Netflix was that?
Go on.
That budget?
Well,
No, I
what's-
don't know,
They
genuinely.
are. I think they're about to go out
How
of
many
business.
nets did they have to flick?
How many nets
to
did they give to the flicks?
Oh, man.
It's a horror
Who's to say?
sci-fi film starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, and many more. So many people in this cast. Huge cast, stacked cast, you could
Stacked.
say.
I don't know if I would say stacked. I'd say pretty front heavy, and then just like a bunch of kind of that guys show up.
Well, there's only like 20
That's
people
people's
in the film.
careers and feelings you're playing with there, Tom.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize we've been
They
doing that
all
the
did a
entire
really
time.
great job.
Yes, fantastic. We have nothing critical to say, and we never will.
Really?
No,
Because that's the whole point of the podcast. I don't know if you know. Anyway.
Are there other features of the podcast?
Yes,
Frank?
we actually rate films out of 11. I was just about to say it.
was just checking.
Jesus.
I was just checking.
And Thomas is the brain behind the 11.
We
Which
tease you up for it, Frank, to not be ready for it, guaranteed.
so excited. So excited. Why do we do it out of 11, Tom?
There are 7,269 distinct people who have made it to the top of Mount Everest,
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
but only 11 have ever made it to the top of Jacob Elordi.
Hold on. 11 of the people who have summited Everest?
No,
Or
just 11 different people.
Okay.
And they never made it back, so we don't know who they are.
So just to clarify, 11 survivors of Everest.
No, just
Have
11
mounted
11 survivors of Elordi.
It's not clear.
It's a comparative thing. It's just like, wow, it's easier to climb Everest than to scale Elordi, it turns out.
Gotcha.
He's a big
great.
guy. I don't know if you guys noticed. He's a real big fella.
I took that sexually as well for some reason. I don't know
Yes.
if that's
Yeah, he's listed
I
as
meant to
where
say
we're
to top Jacob Elordi, not
Yeah.
to the top. They've topped him.
You did
Evan-
say mount. Did you say mount?
I said mount. I said top. Jacob, if
Yeah.
you're listening, you
Yeah.
can't sue us. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All allegedly.
He does seem like a PT, like a personal trainer.
Oh, yes.
Is everyone else short in this film? Like, I know he's 6'5", right?
I think he's taller than that. I think he might be six,
He's
like
like
even 6'7".
6'7". Yeah, something like
He's
that.
enormous, and I think like what's his name, Oscar Isaac is like solid, like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah,
like
he's not
he's
that
basically
tall.
average height.
That's not average height.
1.96 meters. So what would that be?
Well-
Apparently, it's saying 6'5".
Okay,
but
so you two are doing the math this time round, I see.
Yeah,
but
well,
we're
someone
not
had to
doing
because
it to prove a point
the math.
that the movie's bad because his height is off.
I did read somewhere 6'7", but I think let's say he's 6'5" and above.
Okay.
It's 6'5"
getting
and
in the
he's
weeds.
Almost 2
Getting the
meters.
weeds.
That's too tall. I think he would agree. That's too tall.
That is not too tall.
I think he's fine with it. I think if I were 2 meters tall, I'd be okay with it.
I think he's
Jacob, he lords over everyone. You know, like it's cool.
Hey,
Okay.
nice.
Jacob's
Okay.
ladder, you need that to get up just to see the top of him.
Wow. Okay, shout your name if you like this film.
Marcus.
Frank! I'm quite strong on this. I had a
Why
really
did
nice
you
time.
why did you hold off? I was waiting for a reaction first.
I thought
He was
we're all
worried.
I was, I thought we're all going to play.
It's like, what will the headline say? Frank Kerr loves Frankenstein? It's too obvious. Like,
Yeah.
He needed someone else to go first.
That's the extra bonus point is like it's got my name in it. So I'm like, yeah,
course.
I'm happy to be here. Although they never say it, they just keep saying Victor, and I'm like, Frank. But
Frank.
they'll get there.
They'll get there.
Okay, well, Tom, start with you because you seem like you've got a bad feeling about this.
Bone to pick.
Like a 5.2?
Okay, so that's not too bad.
No, I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think it quite works.
That's not 5.2 bad.
Okay.
Okay,
It
and
literally is, but I know what you're saying.
and Marcus.
I am a 6.1.
Oh. I nearly played a 6.1 is like just
A bit of a
over the limit.
boring 6.1, but yeah.
We'll
get there.
I think I'm a flat 7.
We're at that icky middle ground.
I was chatting with Kath in the car just earlier.
Chatty
She was like,
Cathy.
Howdy, Chatty Cathy.
Come on.
She's known. And she and I were talking about, like, she said, who do you think's... Because I said, I don't really like this movie. And she was like, do you think either of the boys will? I was like, I have an inkling that Frank will for reasons that we'll get into. And I'm sure you already have a take on why you like it, Frank.
Well, yeah, because it's my own feelings and emotions.
Yeah, it's about fatherhood. Like, it's literally what the movie is very nakedly about. It's about a lot of things, but that is a
Nakedly.
huge
100%.
aspect of it.
Jamming it down our throats the way it
Yes.
does. Yeah.
Yes.
To be honest, I didn't take that away, so maybe it like just resonated deep within me somehow, but it got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to expound on that?
Well, I think I was ready to hate it in a way that I don't really care for, let's say, horror. It's pretty friendly horror.
Okay. Is this the first time you've heard this, Marcus?
No, this is news to me. I've no idea what he's talking
interesting.
about.
Do you have some sort of bodily reaction that happens involuntarily whenever you're watching a horror
I do
movie?
pee.
Okay.
I do pee.
He's been saying that a lot. I never fully understood it. I was just nodding.
It comes out of my body.
I need
Yeah.
to say, because for anyone who's listening to this right now,
Yeah.
and if you've heard us say pee many times, you might just think, like, what a puerile, like, juvenile joke. We need to clarify because it's been so long.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest things ever. Frank reading reviews from The Conjuring, and one of the reviews was literally just, I pee my pants.
Yeah, that was a very good defense technique for me, so I didn't have to talk about the film.
Yes.
I was like, this is horrible. That was a film I did pee big time.
Okay.
This I didn't pee so much. My heart pee-peed, strangely.
Okay.
I was
Heart PP, yes.
yeah, heart pee. Look,
Is there a word for that? The substance of the heart? I think it's just heart pee, right?
yeah, like pee.
Yeah.
Pee.
And the tricuspid valve is there to prevent.
Oh, how about you tricuspid and shut up?
Okay, I'm just saying that's what Charles Dance is teaching him all about in the early part of the film.
Yes, his father, who is a bad man. Look, when the film opens in the Arctic Circle, and you're like, okay, what is this? Is it the Polar Express? Does it look like the Polar Express to you guys? Maybe I saw it.
I'm not familiar enough with the Polar Express for that to have been my first reaction.
I honestly was like, wow, this...
Of all the films of all time that has, had snow represented in it at some capacity, I think you pulling Polar Express from nowhere.
But I think the heightened aesthetic of Guillermo's the work, sorry.
I think this is a commentary on the Netflix glow, which we'll definitely get to.
We need to establish this. It's not Geronimo. It's not Ghislaine Maxwell. It is.
Whoa.
It's like Guillermo.
That's what I tried to say.
Guillermo.
But I always get nervous going into it.
Yes.
You know
Marcus,
I can't read, so just give me a break.
That's fair. And when they give you letters and they're like, but don't say these ones, it's just like they're fucking with you at that point.
Like when I
Every
ordered...
letter's silent.
Can you expound on that, Marcus, the Netflix look of it? Because I think we should just kind of start with that, just to say the overall aesthetic and vibe of this film.
This was one of my gripes and why I didn't score it higher. When you watch a Netflix film nowadays, and I guess I'll use the best example for maybe our listeners who might be familiar with Wednesday on Netflix, which gets flogged a lot in terms of...
Oh my gosh, yes, I know exactly where you're going. Couldn't agree more.
The thing with Wednesday is that it's so vibrant, so dynamic, it pops with colour. Even when there's shadow, there's not really shadow. Everything is so lit and on display. It detracts from the story and your narrative and your overall look, I think. And this is a perfect example of a film where I did not want to see everything. I think shadow or the use of shadow could have been used very, very well in this. And just wasn't. And so I think they're filming I don't know the technical aspects of this, but it's something like a Netflix resolution, high def something or other that they film it in.
They have a pretty standard approach that they do, whether for their colour grading or for just the general aesthetic, and it looks kind of like bubblegum a lot of the time. Like, and what you said about Wednesday is true of that, and you could say that that's true a lot of just the streaming material out there. And the problem I have with this movie I saw this at cinemas. Like, I got a chance to go see it while it was briefly available, and even on the big screen, I was like, this looks like content. This looks like a Netflix movie.
This is the problem. And like, obviously streaming it, you're going to get it, like the bit rate gets crushed like to a massive degree, so even the quality is not going to be great at home.
Yeah.
But I think they know that going in, so they create it so it looks, fine even at a crushed rate, which is disappointing. I think still it looks pretty great. I think
there's some captivating shit in this movie.
Absolutely. Some of the shots are stunning.
Stylistically, they've made some really bold choices. I think, very clever. Again, it's just, when you're looking at a classic horror, as it were, the Frankensteins, the Draculas, the Invisible Men, all that sort of stuff. You want to have dark and gloomy, and I didn't want that Wednesday pop. So as soon as it opened with your Arctic Circle, as you said, Frank, immediately my screen was just white and then some, and it was overbearing almost. And then you see the ship and the look, the costumes, the sets, everything like that. And I'm sure we'll get into that as well. Incredible. Like truly incredible.
Yeah, the design is lovely. It's more the critique would be on the lighting and I guess color grading for the
VFX. A lot of post stuff that you just kind of like. You clearly wanted a Zemeckis like mocap pop, or even sort of
this is why I say Polar Express, because
you're absolutely right.
Like they filmed that Arctic stuff on a real set. It could have looked a lot more raw and gritty, but it looked so perfectly high definition and clein that it felt fake, and that's why I was like, wow, am I in the uncanny valley for a second? And then I think you do kind of forget that. Well, I certainly did within like 10, 15 minutes.
Sure.
I think all the body horror, all the scarring and medical stuff looked pretty good. Like all the cadavers and all the bones and the flesh, and when Frankenstein's hands missing all the flesh off his fingers, and you're like, yeah, that looks cool, that looks good, that looks legit. It's more about the grand scheme of the set pieces and the weather and the atmospheric special effects.
Absolutely.
Do we talk about it's a very well-known story, but do we briefly just sort of like say,
well, Tom, you've probably taught this, haven't you?
I not as often as you'd think, but the only reason I've read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was because of a student of mine who did it for her year 11, probably like 6 years ago now. So I have read the book, but a long time
ago. So it was 1818 this was published.
Yeah, it's almost 200 years. She was 20 when she wrote it, and it was almost, I'm going to like just sort of paraphrase the version of this, but from what I understand, it was her and writer friends, who were mostly men, who all were like taking a challenge, and they were like, who can write the most interesting story about like the modern world, or about like kind of a sci-fi approach, or like what can you do with technology and where we are. And it was just kind of a almost Mad Lib style, see what you can write. And she wrote like an enduring legacy, like one of the most important books of the last 200 years.
True.
It was just insane.
I was doing a little bit of like reading on Mary Shelley, and she had like, there's no surprise that she came up with a story this horrible and macabre. Like her life was miserable. Children dying, young children dying. Her mother died when she was young. Like just
100%
awful stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, like you're messed up. Like,
as a lot of people say, once you get past the more obvious and more sort of, I suppose, surface level thematics of this is about should we play God, this is about the role of technology in our world, this is about like exploration that is unbidden by some sort of like humility or whatever, it's also about being a woman. Like the original text is like, this is what men do. They create you in some sort of image that they think they want, and then they're horrified by you because of what you've become.
Tom, have you read the book?
Yes, 6 years ago.
Am I right in saying that the start of the book, it takes quite a while to get going?
The thing about the book is that it's written in the most like wonderful but florid language ever. Like no one says a normal sentence in the whole book. It is
Speaking
just
of normal sentences.
Yes. Florid. And the Machine, you're familiar? Yeah. But no, it's really just this beautiful, like ornate language that is all very much steeped in romance literature, but also Gothic literature, right? And this kind of marriage between the two of something that's horrifying, but also something that's written in this really complex, dense, and wonderfully eloquent way. But yeah, it starts with a guy in the North Pole, and he's writing a letter about like, I met this crazy dude out on the ice, and he's telling me this story, and now I will relay the story to you in this letter that this crazy guy told me, and it's layers. It's very Wes Anderson.
And then doesn't he? But then he also writes a letter for the monster story. Is that correct? So
Frankenstein in the original book Frankenstein relays the monster story because he's like, and then I met the monster years later and he told me what had happened and now I'll tell you what happened.
Wow.
And so that whole bit where this is like sort of a bifurcated narrative where Jacob Elordi shows up and goes, now you will hear my tale. Like, that's not really how it happens in the book. It's like Frankenstein just keeps going and then at the end, the monster finally makes it to the dead body of Frankenstein. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. It's about a guy who wants to create life, right? He wants to fucking...
So anyway, that was the Butler's Pantry.
Sure. Wouldn't
Glad
it be
we
nice?
got that out of the way early.
Wouldn't it be
Far
nice?
out.
Wouldn't it be nice if that was all Tom said this episode? But there'll be more.
Wow.
There'll be more.
Oh my word.
Okay, well, yeah, I just want to quickly, a few things that I loved about it. I think the most resonating and strong takeaway, and I guess moment for me where I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a like, is in the second half, in the monster story, and you're both going to laugh at me, obviously, but it's when the monster, Jacob Elordi, is hanging out with the family, and then he's having the conversations with the blind man, and it's like...
David Bradley, Professor Filch.
Which is probably the best scene in the film, I think.
David
Truly.
Bradley rules.
David Bradley,
it's, every time we're reminded he's still alive, it's a great day.
He's so good in this. It's just like, it's the most understated, chill, calm performance.
And do you know what? That's probably the only scene where I took myself back and went, this is what I was looking for, because they actually use shadow and colour really well in that particular scene.
I think that's true. In that house, that cabin.
I think in that the whole
cabin.
sequence of the house with the family and
it's really
the wolves.
nice.
Yeah,
and the dialogue's actually not that campy. It's actually pretty good in that particular scene, where it's not as strong elsewhere in the film.
I didn't mind the dialogue in the first half where it feels a bit more campy and a bit more dressed up. You know, like Christoph Waltz.
Just being Christoph Waltz.
When he's like, I will be the eagle that feasts on your liver.
That's a great line. But that's cackled.
That's from the Prometheus.
Correct.
Story?
The Prometheus myth, yes.
Yeah,
I believe you're
which
correct.
is crazy. It's like, obviously.
And the one where he says, now flush my piss as well. Historically a very...
Flush it, piss boy. I think.
Yeah. Flush it, piss boy.
That's Sophocles, maybe, or Euripides. I can't remember who said that originally, but yes, you're correct.
Yeah, it's from the Bible.
Strange, like, dynamic shift when you know, he comes in and he's so respectful and he's like, I love what you're doing and I want to be a part of it and I want to fund you. Yeah. Obviously, we know he's got a dark motive or whatever it is, ulterior.
Christoph Waltz with a dark motive? Where would they have got that casting idea from?
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Truly, he walks in and you're like, he can't. The timeline doesn't work out. He can't be a secret Nazi. So what is it in this that he is? And then, yes, of course,
he's come back in time as a Nazi.
Syphilis. Oh yes,
they want this technology to win the war.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting idea.
Anyway, so
he would have loved him, I guess.
The blind man, David Bradley, that whole sequence absolutely shifted my feeling on this film, and it carried through. So that's me. Anyone else?
That's getting like in the later third of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, really. If we're going to break it up,
I was umming and ahhing, not umming and ahhing, but I was like, yeah, I'm kind of into this, but I was like writing down a few notes, like critiquing it.
Tell me what was bothering you.
Okay, why in the heck does Mia Goth, Elizabeth, why is she in love with the monster? Like, she's straight up in love with the monster.
I'll answer this. I got this one. Because the writers undercooked her character. And, that's all I've got to say on that.
She suffers a lot in this movie. That is
she's one of the most
role.
underutilized actors in this entire film. I think it is a horrendous use of Mia Goth.
Well,
in
I really
fact,
like Mia Goth.
She's better in the first half when she's playing the mother. And I think she has a better performance there.
Even though I think all of her, she's the French mother in the opening.
She's Frankie's mother.
She's Frankenstein's mother.
What?
In the few scenes. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
She's
got like a little prosthetic nose, and she
covers her face with the veil.
And they've ADR'd all her lines because I don't know if her French was that good, so it seems like they had to. But like, yes, that is Mia Goth. So of course, the whole like Oedipal things coming through in the stories. It's very much about like absent fathers and longing for mothers in a weird way that the movie is aware are themes, and then I don't think does anything with. Like when people like heard, did you hear all he drinks is milk? And his mum's the same actress as the woman he wants to fuck. And I'm like, does the movie have a take on that? It's like, no, it doesn't. Like, that's all it does.
I don't think it needs one. I think that's enough. I think we get it.
Yeah.
It feels very just kind of like besides the point.
Do you know what I thought? I was like, I literally was like, that cannot be milk. Like, surely that's a drink of the time that is like absinthe and milk. Like, it must be a weird, like a weird lead concoction that fucks you up from the 1800s.
He's just drinking mercury. That's why he recognizes it so quick. Yeah.
Mercury, the syphilis. Mercury. Me too. Yes, Cheers. Yes. Like,
no, he loves milk. It's mother's milk.
Okay. Tom, I'm the beautiful middle ground here. So maybe we go with you and ask why you didn't like it, or why it didn't make the cut?
I saw this movie probably almost 2 weeks ago in cinemas, and then I watched it again this morning just to be fresh with it. And as I was halfway through watching it today, I was like, I didn't need to watch this again. I remembered it well enough, and I'm resenting it a little, having to. I already didn't love it, but I probably would have given it slightly higher after the first watch, and then after watching it today, I was just a little bit like, God, spending time with this is a drag. But I don't think it's a terrible movie. I don't think it's a failure. I think there's an earnestness to not just what Guillermo's doing, definitely what Oscar Isaac's doing, Christoph, Mia Goth, Charles Dance, David Bradley,
I noticed you haven't...
So anyone but Oscar Isaac. Okay.
I know, literally, I'm about to say, and then Jacob Elordi is the one who it's like is so committed to this. Like, he has such a clear emotional take. I'm not as taken with what he does in the movie as everyone seems to be. Like, everything I'm reading is people who don't like the movie are like, oh, but you've got to admit, powerhouse Jacob Elordi. No, I don't. I don't have to admit that. I think it's like a very admirable swing that comes across as pretty boring a lot of the time, like fairly one note. I could not help when he finally comes into the house with David Bradley, a sequence I generally think's okay, but when he's talking to him and he's like, and you could read to me, read, and like I just thought about that episode. Sorry, you go first, Marcus.
No, I am interjecting here because I had the same issue with the film. Again, I don't think that's Jacob's fault necessarily. I am one of those people that was like, I don't think I love this film as much as I wanted to, but I think that there's some people really putting in work, and I think Jacob Elordi, as much as I don't like him as an actor necessarily, I think he's probably the strongest one in this. He's taking a swing, like you say. I think the writing lets him down.
I think that's true.
I think there's a line I wrote later in the film when he finally runs back into Victor, and he's talking about wanting him to make a companion for him, and he says, "Oh, well, no, I've got to find it. I'm so sorry."
That's okay.
No, take your time.
I wrote it down. No, I will. We can be monsters together. Yes.
Yeah, it's Frankenstein. Like, I know it's a little cheesy, but it's also like...
It's so cheesy.
I think you have to have a take, and I don't think on a script level, on a dialogue level, on a characterization level, on a motif level, I think their take was incredibly shallow. And I think of like, why would you do this? This is a 200-year-old story. You're going to do anything with it? And I think a lot of it, no, they didn't.
Which is so strange. I'll quickly just say I love Jacob Elordi. We'll get to MVPs later, but I like him in this. I like him in most things I've seen him in.
Do you like him in Priscilla?
Queen of the Desert? Yeah, he's pretty good.
The Priscilla movie with
where he plays Elvis.
He knows.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's a perfect Elvis. I don't think it's as good as Austin Butler's Elvis. I like him.
I think he's better than Austin Butler. I really like his Elvis performance.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic.
I think he's a very talented man. I think he is a character actor, and I think he's taking swings, Marcus, like you always seem to like. Anyway, I like the swing in this. I think the dialogue is juvenile at best, and it lets him down. It lets all of them down a little bit. Then there are some lines that are just like just a symphony, and you're like, okay, wow, where did that come from? But that probably is just ripped direct from the physicality is outrageous.
Physicality is unbelievable for what he does. I think he's putting a lot of work in there. Vocally, he's done a lot of work. I think, just the delivery on particular lines, very tricky lines that are hard to pull off with sort of an earnest approach. I think that's where he maybe falls flat.
I want to go back one thing. Yes, horrible dialogue. But Tom, you said like it's interesting that this is such a historic novel, historic story. Guillermo has wanted to do this film for 15 years, 10 years, 9 years, whatever it is. 100 years.
Say you're probably right to say. I imagine it's something he's wanted to do for a long time, but he's been talking about it since at least the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Coming. And you think after that much time, after he most of his films are very interesting and very sort of like, obviously, hey, sympathise with the monstrosities. That's his overarching career theme.
Yeah,
but this seems pretty surface level, comparatively even to his own work. Which is interesting because he's obsessed over it. And like maybe that's the problem, right? He's obsessed so much that he's like, I don't know, I don't want to change anything, so I can't really make a swing or take a choice.
Overthink it a little bit too.
Yeah, maybe.
He's already made Frankenstein like 10 times. Like if you look through his career, it's like, he's iterating on Frankenstein with Pan's Labyrinth, with The Shape of Water, with Hellboy, with fucking Blade to some extent, with Pinocchio even. Like these are stories about a made creature or an outsider that people have to look through the surface and find some of the beauty beneath, and society's attitudes towards it, but also like the creature trying to develop some form of communication and the recognition of the ways in which we project feelings that we have that may not be accurate. Like all that shit's in his stuff already. So why make Frankenstein? He's already done it. It's a weird choice, I think, when he's already...
It's like a retread.
100%. It's too literal. It's too obvious.
But I think it's just like... He had to do it. That's the
I think you're right.
This is probably the reason he's made any of his films. And each he had to scratch. And like, it's been the inspiration. He's finally wanted to take a chance on it, and he's got to do it. And now he can make Frankenstein's Bride, and just move forward.
So my biggest problem with this, Tom, and I think you'll appreciate this, is, and Frank, you wouldn't have seen this film at a guess, although you may shock me. I watched back-to-back with Frankenstein, I watched Nosferatu.
The Robert Eggers one from last year.
Robert Eggers one.
Yeah.
And I think that when I'm looking for thematically and stylistically reimagining of that classic horror IP, I think Nosferatu really hits its stride with it. I think it's very clear-cut what it's trying to achieve. Whereas I wanted the same sort of thing with Frankenstein and didn't get any of that. And it's like you say, it's all that bubblegum pop colour, it's the vibrancy, it's the not quite spoon-fed sort of narrative, but it's so easy watching and easy to digest. I didn't feel like I took anything from it. I didn't feel that I had to think too much about when watching this. It all sort of just happened. We got to the end and I went, yeah, cool. And I spent more time thinking, how could he have done this better? And when you tell me that he's been sitting on this for, 12-something years, did you say 12 years?
Well, he's talked about how it's like the book Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's book, but also the James Whale original film, and even to some extent, like he loved the Frank Darabont script that was originally written for the Kenneth Branagh version that never got made, I don't think, but he's just like obsessed with this. It's kind of like his lodestar, Frankenstein. So,
and you say
which
that
again...
Shelley had that sort of macabre sort of background, you think that you would lean into a real darkness into this, and again, I just didn't feel any of that. So,
agreed. Yeah, I think it's way too clean. It's way too clean.
And it's strange because it doesn't look like he had full creative control. Like this was his vision, he had final cut. So it's not like Netflix is like, hey, we need it to be streamable, we need it to be like two screen ready, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened? I hope he's happy with it. I don't think he's done a terrible job. I think it's still a beautiful film.
And then going back onto Elizabeth and the creature, it was completely undercooked. It just came out of absolutely nowhere, where she saw the beauty in this creature that no one else could, and immediately she's like, I want to give myself to you. Like, I can't think of anything but you. I dream of you, that sort of stuff. So how did this happen so quickly?
It's so strange because Oscar Isaac, it's his turning on the monster seems like it doesn't make any sense. Like I know that's what kind of has to happen, right? But he made it. He should be like that scene where the creature comes into his bedroom after, like the day after the storm, and he's hugging it and touching it, and he's just like obsessed.
Maybe one of the most successful, truthful, emotional moments in the film for me. When he says Victor, and then the monster points to itself and says Victor, and Oscar Isaac goes, "Of course you are. Of course you are. Like you're mine. And that's you're Victor." And I'm like, I feel something, and he holds him. It's a really moving moment that I don't think the film basically ever gets back to. Like that's one of the
it sets it up for its
heightened
bookend at the end there with the sunlight bit, but it doesn't really do much else with that. And I agree with you. I think that's one of the best bits in it. And then his really flip is so quick. It may be doing the work for them, and maybe it's he's obviously seeing a failure in what he was trying to achieve, and his resentment is built so quickly toward it.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like any time has passed, and
it doesn't make any sense.
He's like,
it's a failed experiment.
Also,
it's a parental frustration.
If if it's about fatherhood, if he's a brand new creature, he's going to take a long time to learn to speak. Like,
Yeah.
This movie
these
is
things
about...
take time. But then, sorry.
But then he does.
No,
Then when he gets to the family, he like learns. You know, he's got enormous vocabulary like that, and you're like, wait, like what is happening in terms of the time dilation here? Like,
Well, I think that the blind guy just showed a level of patience that Victor was not capable of as
But
a
even
as a parental
outside
figure.
of the blind guy, he was learning from listening to the family.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think,
true.
Frank, like what you identified that I picked up on watching the second time this morning was there is a thematic logic to this, and there is no character logic to it, which is that like, he couldn't learn from Victor because Victor didn't have the patience. But then we see the patience Victor had in making the monster, the immediate emotional connection he had to it. Then he puts it in a basement with chains around it, which does not make sense at all with the tenderness he's just shown it.
He also-
like even if someone wants to be like, no, for he thinks that will be for its safety. It's like, no, he wouldn't let it out of his sight.
If I'm
This
to
is a-
defend that point, though, Tom, I think that his entire goal was set to create life
yeah.
from death, right?
And then he says
And he's
afterwards,
done that.
like, now what? The
Now what?
horizon.
Literally.
I've met the horizon.
He didn't go, oh, now I've got to teach it how to function like a human being. He's like, I didn't think that far ahead. I don't give a fuck about that.
But as Frank says, he constantly is frustrated with the creature that it doesn't learn. And it's like, well, it would if it's true I'm meant to buy that he wants the creature to show intelligence.
Yeah.
It would have quite quickly. Like it seems the movie is telling us, if literally someone had sat with it and talked with it for a while, and the implication is like, no, he brings it up, he shaves its head, he yells at it, and that's an immediate switch. In the book, the second the monster comes to life, he regrets it. The second it happens, he's like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, and the immediacy of it is kind of what galvanizes that idea of Frankenstein's horror at creating
That makes
something.
more sense to me.
It does.
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
when the
absolutely
movie
does.
decides, no, we're going to have an emotional connection between them that's paternal to start with, I'm like, then you need to fucking explore that because it's cheating if you have one scene of it and then go, but no, actually he hates it and he's sick of it. That makes no fucking sense. That makes no sense. And
that's
then
a good
Mia
point.
Goth comes down, as you say, and is just like, obviously I want to fuck you. Now, to be fair, it's Jacob Elordi. Like, that's a good shortcut to getting to that. But I really don't want to condescend or tell people they can't like things the way they like them, but I think a lot of people who love this movie, and this movie is getting a lot of like traction and people are enjoying it on Letterboxd and online, I think a lot of people are horny and they like that Jacob Elordi's good looking, and I think that's fine. It reminds me of Saltburn. It reminds me of the like, can we just have fun and look at attractive people? But I prefer when there's
Mia
some
Goth's out
substance.
there just drinking Frankenstein bathwater.
But I know you're talking about Jacob Elordi being attractive, and I know like aura will come through, but he looks like a monster. Like,
But he's sexualized in a very real way, like that. The way that
but
he's
also
presented,
infantilized. Like it's unhealthy.
It's a weird balance. I agree.
Frank, I've got a point on this as well. I think that the makeup work, I've sang the praises of the set design and a lot of other things. I think the makeup work, they definitely did something. I don't think it's as good as it needs to be. It actually looks very drawn on to the point where you're not hiding Jacob Elordi's very beautifully sort of structural face behind it. He still looks like Jacob Elordi. It's all there, and he's still very handsome for a corpse.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, yes. I agree that I don't think the prosthetic work is as grotesque as maybe it should be. And then, like, then you go, well, he's healing and he's like kind of alive now.
I mean, you've seen Van Helsing, right?
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing. Do you remember the creature in that?
I'm not seeing that.
It's got
you've
like
not
a
seen
green.
that?
It's got like a green brain that's always like flashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a.
Really?
That's a.
Outside of the campiness of that film, and we can definitely review that one day. That'd be great.
I'm not even kidding. I think his whatever that actor's performance, and I don't know that actor's name, which is very sad.
His last name, Thomas, is Hensley.
Is it really?
It
How about
is.
that? The guy who plays the
How
creature in Van Helsing.
about that?
He is so remarkable. Schuler Hensley is what we're seeing here, Frank.
Schuler Hensley.
He has a lot of pathos as the monster in Van Helsing. Like when he says, but I want to live.
That was good.
He does want to live. Like, it's really sweet. Right? But no, I do think the film is relying on a little cynically. Yeah, this is Jacob Elordi and he's hot. I mean, again, I like having fun. Oscar Isaac jumping out of the bath and running around his lab naked and us just barely not seeing his dick is a lot of fun. Like, that's a good sequence.
They had to strap it down.
They'd strap me down, so I didn't leave it.
Where they've done this
Speaking
sort
of
of
having
like
fun.
Austin Powers, like fruit covering the genitals all the way as he runs around.
Truly. And by the way, those scenes are kind of my favorite because I like when the movie goes, as we've talked about in the past, you don't care what the actual science is. You just want to see people have eureka moments. And there are two of them that are great. There's the one where they've got the lymphatic system on the board that Christoph Waltz shows him. And then Oscar Isaac turns Christoph Waltz around and goes, no, not through the thoracic, not the front, through the back. And it's a close-up on Christoph Waltz. He goes, of course. Just kind of like that never occurred to me.
You're like, oh my God, turn it around. Amazing.
Just flip it. And then when Mia Goth comes to look at the body and goes, the perfect symmetry of God. And then Oscar Isaac's like, that's it. And he moves one needle and he says, by moving the needle to the other place, I had solved it. And I'm like, fine. That's fine. Well, I don't care. It's okay if it's silly like that. That's the stuff I
do think
like
what is a remarkable scene is Oscar Isaac's presentation to the medical board. And
I think that's fantastic.
Throwing the ball.
A really exciting sequence.
Incredible monologue, incredible performance. Have you seen Bill Hader talking to Oscar Isaac about it?
No.
Bill Hader is like, I hate you. Throwing that ball like it's just not even a problem. He was like, I would be having a conniption. I would drop the ball every time. How did you do that? And Oscar Isaac's like, yeah, man, like I just throwing and catching a ball. Like, relax. Not a big deal.
I have motor skills.
Yeah.
So Hader's like, I never threw catch with my dad.
But I literally was watching it then because I'd seen that prior to watching, and then I'm like, oh my God, he is throwing and catching that ball very well.
He's so confident.
Is that animatronics, do you think, with the corpse there? Because I think
it's Jacob Elordi.
I mean,
I think it's partially practical, but I think they've obviously done some VFX composite work afterwards. But like,
see, that's very impressive. VFX.
I like it. I think it looks good. I think that sequence is a lot of fun. I think the montage of him putting the body together.
When he IKEA flat packs the corpse.
Oh my God. He's soaring through a leg and stuff, when he's putting the bones in.
It's fantastic.
A lot of that's a lot of fun.
I was very invested in the film up until this point, and then
I did also, I love the scene where Christoph Waltz is then like, hey, I have syphilis, like, get over it, but put me into the body. And Oscar Isaac's like, no.
So
no.
In the cinema,
sure.
It's such a tonally weird film, and I don't think it should be humorless, but I think its humor is deployed at weird times. And that's what that got a huge laugh in the cinema. But then we almost all were kind of like, why is the movie being funny at this point? Like, this is the height of the drama. But when he goes, put me inside it, and a close up on Oscar Isaac for like 3 seconds, he goes, no! Like, he's just disgusted.
He's flabbergasted, but then immediately runs up and it's a lightning storm and he's trying to build the silver.
That looks pretty cool.
It looks cool.
I really like that.
He would have had that built already. Like,
oh, yes.
Why is he... And
not to mention, Christoph Waltz would have been like, I probably should mention this before the night. Like, before the storm gets here, I probably should say, by the way, can you put me in the body?
Also, when he finds this castle and he goes, it's perfect, I mean, it is. It's definitely perfect for this very specific thing he's trying to achieve.
Right.
Please tell me, though, what was that tower used for prior?
They actually said what they were building it for during the war.
Would it be a bullet drop tower or something?
It might have been. It might have been a munitions factory.
Yeah.
It might have been
talking about that
like
sloped, like, OH&S issue.
That's how they used to make bullets. Like, a shot tower is where they drop them.
Yeah.
And I believe gravity forms it.
And that's why he'd know it, because he's an arms dealer, Christoph Waltz. So I think it was a munitions factory that just got abandoned, that they didn't end up actually using.
Cool. No doubt.
I think that's true. Some of the dialogue, Christoph, Guillermo del Toro's strength is not in dialogue scenes.
Yeah, why didn't he have a writer?
Too many scenes. What was that? Sorry.
Why didn't he have a writer? Like,
because it's hubris. He's so obsessed with his novel, and he thinks I'm the one to do it. Right? I'm the one who knows this.
He's flying too close to the sun.
I tell you what, just like that guy, Frankenstein,
Hubris, the dog.
Yes, hubris.
Oh, Severus Snape.
All right, there.
Okay, there's too many references going on. How many heads does he have?
Good bit, guys. Keep going.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. I think there are too many sequences in this movie.
Just having a bit of fun. Sorry, Tom, what were you saying? I don't care. I'm just trying to have fun here and drink my Coke, no sugar.
There we go. And he's checked out.
There are sequences in the movie that hinge on just like people having pretty boring exchanges, right? Like when Christoph Waltz first comes to visit Guillermo del Toro, and they're sitting on the piano.
Oscar
stool.
Isaac.
Sorry. Christoph Waltz comes to visit Victor Frankenstein, and they're just sitting on the piano stool. It just it goes on for too long. Just this conversation about like your research and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't. When they're in a carriage later and they're on their way to the munitions factory, the Mia Goth and Oscar Isaac exchange at the dinner table, and she's just like, "Oh, don't you know that ideas alone aren't enough?" And I'm like, "Fucking snore!" Like,
But also,
why are we doing
and now let's dance.
Talk about character logic when William Frankenstein, the younger brother, and Christoph Waltz, he's like, let's go for brandy and leave these two to discuss. And it's like, why? He's trying to fuck your fiance. Language, sorry.
Very
But
strange.
Very obviously trying to fuck her.
And then just run off to your cigars and brandy, having the most fucking 101 philosophy conversation. And then you're right, Marcus, like the sequence where he follows her and then listens in at the confessional does not belong in this movie. No. I don't know what it's doing in here when they dance. It's like, did Guillermo del Toro want to make Beauty and the Beast? And he kind of accidentally made Frankenstein. There is so much aesthetic.
Well, Frankenstein is a tale as old as time.
Strong as we can be.
Wow,
no,
what?
What's the line?
You didn't even know that. That's embarrassing.
What's the line?
I'm not telling you.
Yeah,
It's not it.
Grow up.
Just grow up and learn Beauty and the Beast.
It's embarrassing.
But yeah, it feels like it's more of a piece with like something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like especially them dancing.
I agree.
The very Disney look of the tower and the kind of very peppy orchestral score. I think Alexandra Duplass or Duplass.
She doesn't play, but she conducts. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. He's a male and he does the music for it. And he's done a lot of Guillermo and he's done a lot of Wes Anderson. Alexander Desplas.
I know where I'm looking
Duplass? I can't remember his name. But, Duplass. But he has made a really weirdly jaunty score that I don't think works a lot of the time. And then occasionally it works very well during the melancholic scenes, like when the monster's by himself and he's running the leaves down the stream. I think that's kind of interesting.
But also that scene in itself is so like, wow, welcome to Theatre School 101. You've just discovered the world for the first time, and what are you going to do? Oh my God, the water flows
That's
this
how I
way.
feel about a lot of Jacob Elordi's performance. And I know that he was directed to do this, and like Marcus says, maybe it's the script and Guillermo letting him down.
Should we also talk about the fact that he only came on 6 weeks prior to filming?
Sure. I mean, that's important.
Yeah, he's taken over from Andrew Garfield, which
he did.
Yeah.
Which I think Andrew Garfield would have done it more, and I love Andrew Garfield, but him in this role, he would have been like, my hands, wow. Like, he would have been like a little baby, like Theatre School 0-0. Like, instead
I'm
of.
going to be honest, man. I think Elordi and Garfield basically would have given the same performance within reasons.
So curious to see who could modulate this in a meaningful way, given the material.
But hold on. I do want to give credit to Elordi, where think about him in that last act where he's like screaming and explosive and violent, and you're like, you know, he's got multitudes.
Sure,
he's containing more than one for sure.
When he's attacking the ship and trying to find Victor, when he's really at those heightened moments, I agree.
Yeah.
I think he's very powerful. You go, vocally, he's very strong too. You go, how is he doing that?
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
And you wonder how much of it is like edited, but it sounds good.
A lot of it.
I think what disappoints me about that ship scene is like, if you're pushing that hard on a boat that's frozen, you're already going to fall through the ice. Like, the ice cannot be stronger than you and that force in the ship, right?
It doesn't help when someone fires a blunderbuss bullet through the ice that you stare at it and watch the crack like Scrat in Ice Age. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Hey,
he doesn't move.
He's only like 4 years old at this stage. Is he?
So here's another gripe I have with this film. I don't think they put any blame on the creature at all. I think they make him completely blameless for countless deaths.
And there is that one line where he's like, the wolf doesn't hate the sheep, and the sheep don't hate the farm, or whatever he says.
Taught me the lesson of the world. You'll be hunted down for who you are.
Yeah. Which I think
they villainize Victor all the way through this, which rightly so. But
so does Oscar Isaac does as well. He plays him like an insane villain.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac
Guillermo
leans in.
Fucking
Guillermo
hard.
wanted him to be more of a rock star. That's how he's framed it. He said, I want I want him to be more of a Bowie or just something a bit whimsical. And
he's missed the mark. He's way too obviously
Again, I think
dark.
I think early on he kind of fit.
No,
like
'cause
he
he
has that shit on when he leaves the lecture hall. Like he looks like he's in Bloodborne, Marcus. Like he looks like the hottest hunter. in the Bloodborne.
I disagree. I think he's really like. Oscar Isaac is a very beautiful, charismatic man. I don't think it comes across in this film, barely ever.
I think he's playing against it to some degree. And it's like, but you're right, it's an obvious choice to kind of be like, don't you see? I'm the monster! And it's like, yes.
They hit us over the head with that so many times.
Yeah, they give us a couple of opportunities to hear people say that he's the monster.
The brother's dying, and the brother goes, "You are the monster."
He truly does. He's got the spark notes of the play or the book up in front of him to be like, the theme is, I'm reading here that you are the monster.
Frankenstein is your
Where's the audience like, thank you for the reminder, we almost forgot.
Shit. But I think the brother has so few lines in the movie, and it's such a shame that he gets that. And earlier on, when he comes to Frankenstein's aid after he's first brought the monster to life, and he's putting a blanket over him, he goes, "Did you ever consider, Victor, what body part housed the soul?" And then like the camera zooms in on Oscar Isaac, and after 10 seconds he goes, "No." And I'm like, oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Legit.
Like, who the fuck adapted this, man? It's really hokey, and it's hard to imagine any version of it, for me personally, that I could ever look past that stuff and go, either it's camp or it is a means to get to an emotional truth.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, I think the emotional truth is that Oscar Isaac is blinded by hubris and kind of like, no, I didn't. The problem is like his actual actions. He says a lot of things that don't line up with what he does. Obviously, he's so concerned about the creature and when he comes to life and what he's created when he becomes. Like, he cares about him for a day. So that doesn't make sense that he'd never consider where the soul is and if it's coming to life. What does he love it? Does he care for it? Is it his child? What does he think? Because he obviously does. He's shown us that he does. So why would he say that? Like, what?
It's that, and it's also that, like, when he's having his dalliance with Elizabeth, Mia Goth, like the
one
movie
dinner
kind of takes some time. But like when she comes to visit him and she's got the fucking butterfly, like I hate that scene.
It's shocking, awful
It's
scene.
really bad, and like it's again does her no favors that it just asks her to be like, can you speak in metaphor? Your entire character just needs to sort of regard what's going around, like around you, and refer to it. It's just, and then when it cuts out of the story back to the framing device of him telling the captain, and the captain's like, I must get my men to the North Pole. And Oscar Isaac's like, we're the same, do you see? It's like, yes, I get it. Jesus Christ.
Also, the creature's killed 6 of their men, and then he opens the door at the end of the film and he goes, everybody stand back, we're letting him go. And if I was one of the guys there, I'd be like, the fuck we are. We're letting him walk out of here.
At that point, I'm 100% on board, and I'm like, yes, let him walk free. He's a good man.
Well, they're all on board at that point because they've gotten off the ice.
The thing is, Nosferatu is far superior to this. I wish I hadn't watched it. I would have actually enjoyed this film maybe that little bit more, but I've had time to process and compare the two, and that's the problem. They are easy to compare.
Yeah.
And one just does it in such a far more stylized and interesting way.
But Marcus, you said to me, like, Nosferatu will fuck me up. Like, it's too scary language again.
It's
there are some upsetting
confrontational
parts, definitely.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like this in the way that it is like, oh, I'm dark and I'm body horror, but it's like for Netflix and for Frank.
Don't get me wrong, for Netflix it's pretty gory at times. You know, when he lifts when Christoph Waltz falls from the shot tower,
and his
and he lifts him off the ground.
Yeah.
There's some moments in this where people are getting snapped in half and folded like handkerchiefs.
But I go to what you said, Marcus. Like, I think the movie both shows Jacob Elordi, the monster, doing these like cartoonishly violent things, and then in the next every scene afterwards goes just like, he had no choice, the poor monster, don't you see? And I'm like, you're being a little easy on him.
Yeah.
Like, he is doing...
He, like, snaps a guy's head off at one point and goes, you okay?
There is, by the way, more than a little bit more than a little bit of Leo in Gilbert Grape in this performance.
A little bit.
There is one sequence where Jacob Elordi goes to clap, but he doesn't close his hands, and I was like, that is Leo in Gilbert Grape. Like, that is 100% what that action is.
I'm okay
He's
with
got
that.
this. He's made this choice to have this very childlike sort of overbite as well. You've noticed, like, throughout the film. So the physicality. I think he's working really hard. I don't want to criticize Elordi for this. I think he's done everything right. I think truly Guillermo he's a truly endearing and very loved director. I just don't think he's the right person for this project. I think it's just he is the problem here. It's direction and writing that may have let this down considerably.
I would only half agree. I think the writing is the weakness. I think the direction, like, maybe he's not an actor's director, but I think regardless,
I think you need an actor's director here.
But no, I don't think you do. With better dialogue, these actors are doing a pretty fantastic job, even with some of these hokey lines. I think the emotional resonance will always ring true when you've got a cast, like I said at the start, stacked, and I believe it is, all the way down to David Bradley, who is just fantastic with very little to do.
I think Charles Dance and David Bradley were two of the most grounded actors in this.
No.
Really, Frank?
We got Charles Dance, we got Christoph Waltz. It's like, where's the foxtrot?
Charles Dance is some of the...
Okay, Tom, you go.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, God, I'm going to go red. Sorry.
Please tell me there's another one.
That was pretty good.
No.
I really like Charles Dance in this. I think he's doing exactly what he's literally played Victor Frankenstein's father in a previous movie with Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy in it. Like, he is born to play roles like this. He is fantastic at that lethal paternal authority figure. Whenever you think of him skinning the deer while he's talking to Jaime Lannister in like episode 9, season 1 of Game of Thrones, right? Like, it's just incredible to have him sort of. Frank hates that I know this specific episode.
I think his best role is easily Farmer Hoggett, though, in Babe.
No, I was about to say he's very good.
Absolutely, he's really good as that role that Cromwell played.
He's good as Malfoy's dad. Yeah, like, what do you want to do?
Look, I love Charles Dance. I think that's I think he does something that I find far more interesting than what Oscar Isaac is able to do across the entire film. And I think this is going to be a bit of a hot take, so strap in, or glove up or whatever.
Wait, is there a section for this?
Hot takes?
Yeah, or is this just a hot take?
I mean, we could make a section. I think
it's a hot take with the butler and the hot take butler.
Ow!
Go.
That's a hot take.
Go for it.
My hot take is that Charles Dance has a strange undercurrent of true, like, pathos and even, like, an unwilling connection to his son at the start. When he hits him with the when he whacks him with his switch, right, and gets him on the face.
The face is vanity.
Not the face. The face is for vanity. Yeah,
the face is for vanity. And he puts his hand to his face and he says, "You are my name. You will carry that on. Remember that." And he gives him this lingering look where he's kind of like, I can't show this child love and this is all I can do. And I know that there's a very easy way to read that on the very surface level of just, he was a shitty dad who only cared about his legacy. It didn't matter. But I feel real, like, sort of subterranean warmth there.
He's a shitty dad in the way that he doesn't know how to show affection.
100%.
And he's concerned with not just his own legacy, but his children's life
and
after him.
And you see that when he has William, he suddenly has an outlet to show his true love, because he has that love in him that he shows to William. I think Charles Dance's performance across 8 minutes is one of the most complex pieces of acting in the film.
I think the butterfly really also did a very good job.
The butterfly, yeah, great.
Yeah, great. Okay, should we move on to Butler's Pantry? just to let Tom talk a little bit more.
Yeah, let him go.
The butler in the pantry with a mic. The butler's pantry.
Okay, and it has a sip.
I think we need to stop making movies like this. I think it's really, really boring making Frankenstein and to some extent Nosferatu and The Wolfman and the fucking whatever else. Like, I think it's really weird that we're remaking these movies and we're trying to retain the original Gothic spirit of them without modernizing them in any way I find particularly useful. I don't disagree with you, Marcus. I think Nosferatu is a more successful movie. I still don't love Nosferatu. I think it's pretty good. I think it's kind of like way too obsessed with its text and allegiance to it and the self-seriousness that's kind of unavoidable. I think I've talked with you guys about this before, maybe I haven't. Aaron Taylor-Johnson's role in Nosferatu, whenever everyone's like, well, it's a vampire, he's like, but vampires aren't real for an hour. And I'm like, bro, it's 2024, vampires are real. Like, why the fuck are we doing this?
We're not reviewing that film, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
This is my Butler's Pantry is essentially Guillermo del Toro, not my favorite director, but almost every movie he's made that is some adjacent Frankenstein story is more successful, in my opinion. Even The Shape of Water, a movie I don't love, right? But especially like Pan's Labyrinth has a lot of Frankensteinian like ideas and concepts to it and gothic stuff. But like Nosferatu's kind of interesting, I guess. But think about the movies that have been made, especially within the horror genre in the last few years, that iterate on these ideas and iterate on these like types of stories and these archetypes.
Frankenstein.
Say again?
Frankenstein.
Well, no, Frank, you're Frank Kerr. Frank Kerr. But, like, if you want to add the Stein to the end, we can talk about that.
I'm trying to think of what's that other one with Emma Stone? Bad Bunny. No, what's it called?
Things.
Poor Things.
Definitely you're 100% right. Of course, that's a Frankenstein story. But, of course, the substance is like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, kind of Dorian Gray as well, right? But that's what's going on there. Of course, not Barbarian, Weapons that came out this year is kind of like Pied Piper, but is also playing on, like, old stories of, like, witches and sort of, like, old sort of Scandi folk tales and stuff like that. Sinners is a fucking, like, vampire movie that the second vampires show up, they're like, we all agree vampires exist. Great, done. Like, it's so much quicker because we know they're real. We know these stories, and I don't understand why we have to watch these movies that pretend we've never fucking seen a Frankenstein story before.
It's like seeing the start of Spider-Man again and seeing how Uncle Ben died.
Or Batman's
really
parents getting killed for the 50th fucking time.
No, I'm with you.
It's so weird. Like, I watched RoboCop again the other day, and I was like, this is a great Frankenstein story. Like, this is like a twist on this shit. I find that this movie doesn't seem to have a reason to exist beyond the fact that Guillermo has such a strong fealty to it, but without again having much of a take. And I wish he would just continue to use the ideas and the essential structure and themes and whatever without having to make Frankenstein.
Yeah, Guillermo's
great point.
strengths come from, I guess, not pre-existing IPs. I think that original thought from him is what we're looking for most.
And that's what he's lauded
Hellboy,
for. Like,
Hellboy is an IP. So.
Yeah, I think that movie visually is astounding. I don't know. I should watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, visually and that sort of out-of-the-box thinking is what he's been known for and people celebrate him for, right?
Yeah.
Tom, I do want to quickly pivot Butler's Pantry. I've got a Frank's Pantry. I do think it's funny that the Netflix put this, like you said, in cinemas. You saw it when it was out for a couple of days
I'm
in
pretty
Australia.
Sure it's already finished at Nova, yeah.
And it's at Nova. It's not at the main. It's not a lot of the main chains.
No.
Internationally, that's the same thing. It's so funny that Netflix have done that, so it can obviously be considered for awards, but they don't really care about the financial return so much because it's not going to make enough money. But it's going to keep people on Netflix because Netflix is drowning. Most people sort of know this. It's like, okay, so Netflix is going under. What are you going to do to keep the business alive? And they're sort of leaning on these huge creative award swing movies, which I think is really interesting. I don't think this will win many, and I don't think it'll keep many people on the app. But
it's just crazy to go see a movie at the cinema and a big N pops up on the screen.
I just don't.
Cinema.
That doesn't
the first
bother
time
me.
it happened, I went and
bother me.
saw The Killer at the cinemas, and it was the first time, and I was like, "That is weird." It was jarring the first time, definitely. But then The Killer was a good movie, so this one, it was much more.
I think it's better than the Apple products.
Sure,
which, as we know,
weird.
but the thing with Apple and financially, their movie budget is not even 1% of the company's
and
revenue.
They're much more selective. You could name the handful of Apple movies. I mean, Apple hilariously fucking beat Netflix to a Best Picture.
Yeah.
Netflix has never and probably never will win Best Picture, but Coda did. So there we are.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Netflix is in the content business, and they're running out of ways to be speculatively valuable. They haven't been in a long time. It's never been a growth-based subscriber service, or it hasn't been for a long time.
A huge churn.
Yes, and so now it's just like they can't necessarily, ensnare Scorsese anymore, or Noah Baumbach, or Jane Campion or whatever, but Guillermo's still game. They gave him $120 million for this. I think that was too much money. I think they could have done something a lot more interesting with less of a budget on this. Something more stripped down that Marcus has talked about, something more grimy.
Yeah.
Remember the muck and the mud in Pan's Labyrinth? How fucking upsetting and amazing that is.
A lot of that film
shit?
is very upsetting, yeah.
It's so much more effective for it.
Yeah,
So much
it's
more
so
resonant.
true. So true.
So weird.
Should we roll on to like an MVP?
Yeah, let's do
Or
an
a
MVP.
recast?
Let's do MVP first.
Yeah, MVP. Okay. Anyone want to jump in first on this one?
I think I'm going to, again, my hot take is it's probably, if not Charles Dance, it's Oscar Isaac. And I know that Oscar Isaac is getting a lot of shit for being too much in this, but he held me for it. I was with him for the whole movie, but I loved Charles Dance as well. He'd be a close second.
I love Oscar Isaac. It's not one of my favourite performances from him, but I do
Nor
like
mine.
what he's done with it.
Yeah.
I think it's Charles Dance, maybe. No. Yeah, I think it's Charles Dance.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go David Bradley, the blind man.
Yeah. I think that's a great
So
call
none
too.
of us are going Jacob Elordi.
I would very close second. I want to shout him out. I think he's fantastic, and
I think so too.
I'm very glad this is his like Austin Butler in Dune moment.
Oscar Butler, nice.
Ooh.
I mean, do you
Oscar
guys feel
Butler.
a little bit? I mean, Jacob's an Australian boy. He's a lad,
mate, he's a larrikin.
Do you feel some sort of version of like a softness where because he's not annoying, like we don't hear about him in a way where it's like, oh, he seems like a dickhead, and he seems like
incorrect.
What are you talking about, Marcus? Are you talking about the guy he scruffed because the dude was being a total douchebag?
Yeah, he's had
Marcus,
these
how many
moments.
guys have you scruffed or met on Scruff? No, sorry. Let's move on.
The new app.
I don't think
comment.
Scruff is new.
Continue. What was your point,
not.
Tom?
Well, just that truly, I haven't heard any other stuff besides.
Well, let's do him versus
that.
Chris Hemsworth. Sorry to interrupt, but like Hemsworth he's got his center app. He's trying to make money. He's on steroids.
Oh.
He's a jerk.
I'll take a Lordy any day over Hemsworth.
He just
You
seems
know
like
that.
a fairly earnest dude. And like,
Yeah,
I think he gave himself his all in this. I've seen the footage of him at Venice where he stands up and he hits his head on the fucking ceiling and like everyone's clapping and he looks like he's going to cry. And there is a degree to which it's like, as much as this might sound a little bit like, a little silly and a little preposterous to claim, but like, yeah, a dude who's 6'5", who it's impossible to shoot normally, was going to have a hard time finding regular roles and fitting in. And he's like, I felt like I was where I was meant to be. And I
Which
think that's
is
really sweet.
He felt like he's been the creature his entire life.
Truly, that's part of it. And you're a ridiculously handsome man with a big old donkey dick, I'm sure. But like at the same time, that's fantastic that you found your place, that you think you're meant to be occupied.
I do feel a strange sort of like national pride or whatever you want to call it. But I'm like,
Sure.
I like the guy. I want to see him do well, and I want to see him take more creative and adventurous swings. This has been fun. And he deserves the chance, I think.
I agree.
The Charles Dance chance.
Hey.
Okay, should we do recast?
Ooh, recast.
Recast, we're gonna change up the cast. Oh my gosh, it's recast. Recast.
What was
White
that?
boy's got soul.
Is there an underlying something under that?
Yeah, my child squealed.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. It sounds
That's
like a
the
home
demo.
recording
That's the
in a really
demo.
lovely way.
That's
Leave
so
that in.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it in. That's nice. Cool. First time I've heard that. Anyone
made
want to
it
go
today.
first again?
Well, I think as the creature, I think it'd be great. I think Andrew Garfield would have been really good.
Sure.
I would have been interested to see it.
That's a joke, you guys. Come on.
Oh.
So
Bad
you're
joke.
obviously more. I've come around on Andrew Garfield in recent years, and I think he would have. Again, is a guy who is so sincere and so committed in his performances. I would have been interested in it even if it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm only saying that because he was cast in the role. I love Andrew Garfield. Have you seen Tick Tick Boom?
Yeah, it's fine.
He's fucking
He's a
awesome.
He throws himself into that. There's
He's
no
a talent.
He's
doubt
fantastic.
about it.
He's truly one of the best actors of our generation.
So you say Andrew Garfield for The Creature? What
No,
about if-
That's a good pick, Frank. Glad we'll lock that in.
Okay, lock it. Fine. Yep, that's me. I'm done. Thanks, guys. Who's next?
Oh. I would say if I'm looking at The Creature, I'd probably be going for your I love this guy anyway, but Bill Skarsgård, even Alexander Skarsgård.
I see. Alexander's my pick because I think I'm thinking big lumbering.
I would have said
intimidating.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
You know, like really old.
That would be hilarious.
I think on the flip side, with a different,
sad.
with a darker, grittier version of this and a different director, I think like a Tom Hardy almost. You know what I mean? Like someone with a bit of grunt behind them. I know you don't like Tom Hardy. I think a real character actor, someone who has an imposing sort of presence on screen, but can also show that second side to them where they're very soft.
I also actually wouldn't mind Robert Pattinson as the creature.
Look, and
Rob Pat
would be the smaller version of Elordi is Nicholas Hoult. Like if we're looking at someone who matches that physicality really well, it's like, and he kind of plays some creature gangly cunt in Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Superman as Lex Luthor. Like,
no, but he's pretty good as Lex Luthor. But no, he's weird looking in what's his name, Nux, whatever his name is in Fury Road.
Do you know what I'd do? Instead of Christoph Waltz as Harlander, I would do, and you're going to be like, oh, of course you would. But Robert Downey Jr. would be fun in that role.
Sure, I see what you mean.
As Harlander.
Christoph Waltz, the guy who,
no. I just had to think about it. I'm just trying to envision it. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate that idea.
I could see that.
I'd love to see Robert Downey Jr. with syphilis. You know, like that's fun.
He's definitely had it.
Come on.
He's definitely had it before. I'd be looking at instead of Oscar Isaac, I'd be looking at maybe Javier Bardem as your Frankenstein, as your Victor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, he could because he's insane in Skyfall when he starts losing it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think he's a cool pick. I was thinking of Ken Watanabe, who I think is just a wonderful actor, and whenever he shows up in things, I'm always just jazzed.
Good choice.
I think he'd be so much fun as Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Really interesting guy.
Yeah. Mia Goth, I'd change. Wouldn't be this generation, but
I wouldn't wish
Claire
that
Danes.
role upon her. Oh, really? Yeah,
I think she could do it.
You're right that's a Claire Danes that's of role.
And then a worst case would be Gwyneth Paltrow would be a really bad version, but the similar like.
I just wouldn't wish this upon any actress, honestly.
No,
I think
it's such a lackluster role.
It's a painful role. I really love the shot of her in the red when she's the mother going up the staircase is one of those opening shots where when I first saw the movie in cinemas, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of spectacular. And there's not enough shots like that.
We do want to talk about, sorry, one visual when she's been shot by Oscar Isaac at the end, spoiler alert, and then she's dying on the rock and her dress is still white, but the whole internal corset is soaked in red.
I think that's a good choice.
Stunning. Gosh, some of the visuals really
there's
are
a few,
very
if you go on
beautiful.
TikTok, you'll see there's these comparisons of shots in the film versus like historically famous artist paintings and stuff.
The big one that he's done that
Scream.
like people talk about when Victor comes into the when Victor comes into the dining room or the dining foyer after his mother's funeral and he says leave us and he's in front of that massive painting. That's like a shot right out of Barry Lyndon,
That's
the
right,
Kubrick movie. The shot of the monster opening the door at the cabin and walking out to the snow, that's right out of John Ford's The Searchers. Like there's a lot of great cinematic homage in here that I think is quite nice.
Mia Goth and the creature when they touch fingers for the first time, you see that shot where they're like sort of connecting hands like this.
Oh, Adam and Steve
painting.
or God and Jesus.
Adam and Steve,
Of course.
What's it called?
And then she has that great line, I make noises with my throat. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Tom yells out, "Tie off your sex tape!"
And then he kind of like touches her throat, and then she's like, I'm going to go now. And I'm like, she doesn't really seem that into it for a lot of the time.
The Jane, I'm getting back onto this again, but the Jane and Tarzan Jane, that
so
dynamic
similar.
But it's so disappointing because no one would say, I make noises with my throat. Like, that's not something you'd say. If you're teaching a child to speak, that's not what you say.
It's very weird.
Also, there's that fear of, is he going to, like, strangle her? Like, because you think he's this violent, dangerous creature, and it never really
you
comes
never
across.
see any of that, do you? No.
She doesn't seem frightened, which seems like a cheat. She is immediately like captivated by this guy. What a beautiful, like misunderstood creature.
Because if you saw a 6'5" guy chained up, half naked, and stitched together,
I'd be like, I thought I dealt with this last week. What's he still doing here?
Damn it! You made my joke about you already.
Wow.
Can I say one line of a Lordies? By the way, sorry, Rebecca Ferguson, I think would be a really interesting replacement here. I love her, and I think she has that steeliness that would work.
Yeah, also a very good choice.
I love her.
Nice.
But there's one line in this movie from a Lordy to talk about a part of his performance I really like.
Yeah.
When Oscar Isaac comes down and he's poured gasoline all over the mansion and he's standing in front of him, he's like, one word, give me a word, make me save you. And he says, Victor, and he walks out, and then like he stares after him, the monster, and like an accusation, he says, Elizabeth. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I like how he says it like, you know you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And Oscar Isaac hears it and is like, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. And just keeps going. Like,
Shakes it
that's
off.
a great moment.
Tries to shake it off, but
really
then
fantastic moment.
Truly,
I love that.
Great moment. Wow. I'm glad you reminded me of that. That's fucking, the actors give such depth to maybe text that doesn't deserve it. I think it's pretty great.
Probably.
So, so the creature's like a Pokemon, right? Like he just says Victor and means like a whole sentence. Victor, Victor, Victor.
And you go,
yes, the bathrooms are just to the left. And
So he starts off as a regular Pokemon, but then he becomes Meowth by the end because he can speak English.
Mewtwo. No.
Nerd.
All right. Is anyone going to throw anything in?
I will go up to a 5.5. Like right on the barrier of
Does that count?
I went up by like 0.3. I think it's basically unsuccessful, but I'm kind of glad it exists, I guess.
Oh, that's cute. Like the creature.
That's interesting. You've gone up to like a balanced 5.5. You've actually thrown my score down to a dislike.
Okay.
Oh, wait. So what are you?
I'm going to... There you go. You can guess.
No. Oh my God.
I'm just going to give it a 5.2.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stay on a 7, so I think 7.2 maybe, just a little bit more.
I don't want to
like.
watch this film ever again, to be honest.
I probably won't either. It reminds me of Interview with a Vampire in a lot of ways, where I'm like, this movie existing has merit, and there's something to it, but yeah, I don't really care about it that much.
I'll definitely watch it again.
Sure.
Well,
a lot of
nice.
daddy stuff in it.
Yeah, well, I'm a father, and I enjoy being a father.
That's
I
really
wish you were
sweet.
farther away.
Thank you for listening to Throw in the Power. My name is Frankenstein.
My name is Marcus.
My name's Tom.
Tomenstein.
Tomenstein.
That was Throw in the Power. That was our Frankenstein episode of 2025 Guillermo del Toro film. So send us an Instagram, Throw in the Power. Send us a Gmail, throwinthepower@gmail.com. We love you.
We do. It's not a question.
Throw in the power.